Welcome back. Big changes for the Devils in their line combinations. Tuomo Ruutu is going to skate on the top line with Travis Zajac and Jaromir Jagr. And as successful as Patrick Elias and Adam Henrique have been together, they are being split up. Both will go at center ice, Elias and Henrique on two different lines. This is the third meeting between the Canes and Devils. Ruutu actually scored here at the Rock in a Carolina win, and Andrei Loktionov scored in Raleigh a big tying goal in the third period of a game that the Devils won 5-2 in the second meeting. They're now on the other team as we go upstairs to Steve.
Thank you, Deb. Bryce Salvador is the second-year captain. He called last night a wake-up call. The players did the talking after the loss yesterday, not the coach. All Salvador would say, there's still time to rectify this. 7 goals were scored in the second period of last night's game at Detroit. Unfortunately for the Devils, most by the Red Wings. Interested to see the response tonight by the home team. As Deb told you, new wrinkle on the top line. Zajac and Jagr flanked on the left side by Tuomo Ruutu. His second game as a Devil, it comes against his former team. He was a fan favorite in Carolina. Really brought an edge to the Hurricanes. Underway, big spot for both teams tonight at Prudential Center. And it's quickly worked out of the zone by Carolina, and seconds in, an icing call against the Hurricanes.
Well, Kirk Muller, the coach of the Hurricanes, has got to be in disbelief. You know, Carolina was at third spot, 4 points behind the Rangers when February started. But since then, they've lost 8 of 11. And it's very confusing when you see two different personalities in your team. And the one that's been surfacing lately, especially, Steve, since the Olympic break, has been the wrong one. And they've been very inconsistent. And, of course, the whole team play has not been good.
One of a number of teams right now just seeing the clock ticking, too, on this regular season and needing to turn momentum quickly. Jeff Skinner plays it out of the zone. Travis Zajac hit at center ice by Elias Lindholm. Following up is Eric Staal, and a shot deflects out of play.
Well, Pete DeBoer is absolutely have already forgotten about last night's game, and he's hoping so is his players, because what's most important is what they do at home. They've got a lot of home games coming up. You see the last 10, they're 7-1-2. They've won the last couple here, and Marty makes a save there off a tricky face-off. But it is really about winning at home. If you can't win both places on the road and at home, you better do it in front of your hometown fans. And I got to tell you, Steve, the game against Detroit was a sellout and was lots full of energy tonight as well. Huge crowd here. Looks real good as you look up in the top bleachers.
Just before the playing of the national anthem, Martin Brodeur, the last player in the starting lineups introduced. What a roar from the crowd with number 30 back. That was somewhat in doubt just a couple of days ago. And a third face-off already, 58 seconds into the game. We're having trouble getting going tonight.
Khudobin is back between the pipes. Anton, he's been carrying the load, and there you see what he's done. His save percentage 5th in the National Hockey League. And Steve, in all of those games he's played, he's never given up more than 3 goals. He was brilliant last night against the Rangers. My goodness, he was the first star in losing cause.
He has put a Conn Smythe Trophy winner on the bench, at least for the time being. And big news for him, Khudobin has been signed to a multi-year contract. Let's watch Guy Zubras play it across. Patrick Elias with a suck. Sticked aside by Khudobin. Skated away by Nathan Gerbe, the 5'5" dynamo out of Boston College for Carolina. But the Devils punch it ahead, and Elias darts back the other way. Dishes it across. Here's Zubras. Throws it in front, got by everyone, back to the point, and Salvador with a shot up high off Guy Zubras, and collected again by Salvador at center. Taken behind the net, the Bolton, Connecticut native, Ron Hainsey works it ahead. Here's Andrei Loktionov, the ex-Devil, to center ice. His second game as a Carolina Hurricane, worked across, and the one-time redirected by Manny Malhotra, but that went wide. Taken here behind the net, Grayson Bowman is checked by Marek Zidlitsky. Loktionov in the initial stages as a Hurricane. He's starting out as a 4th liner. We might see him in a more expansive role as the night goes on.
Well, he did play some power play last night. I expect to see that again.
Hainsey at the point. Sends into the corner. Here's Malhotra. His shot saved by Marty Brodeur. Reaches out, covers up.
Well, two unusual saves for Brodeur. The one off the faceoff was kind of a crazy one, and that one as well. But Marty Brodeur's won his last 2 games. And of course, a lot of pressure the last game here against Detroit. For many reasons, was this going to be his last game? But tonight, Steve, there might be even more, because he's voiced his opinion. Give me a chance to play more, and I'll show you that I still got it. And so there's some pressure on number 30 tonight. Not that there hasn't been for, like, oh, let's say the last 20 years or so, but still, I just think it's a little bit of a different kind of pressure. A little bit of pressure on this line, too. Michael Ryder having trouble scoring. Ryan Clough on the left side. He got put up there with Zajac and Yager for a game last night. Steve, didn't go real well. So tonight, they're between the hot Adam Henrique, hoping that he can ignite them and get a little more balanced scoring going for the Devils.
Pete DeBoer didn't tell us this. I think that's really one of the reasons of getting Adam Henrique on that line, to get Michael Ryder going. That is so important for this team as Ryder skates it ahead and dumps into the Kane zone. Khudobin behind his net. Winds it around the boards, waiting for it. The 19-year-old Swede, Elias Lindholm. Over the line is Eric Stahl. Crosses up with Skinner and taken away by Henrique. Opening minutes, Prudential Center, Ryder dishes across, and here's the red-hot Henrique over the line. Ryder drops it back, Ryan Clough. This trio has played extensively together this year. Clough plays it down low, and Eric Gelinas into the corner. Ryder tied up along the near boards. Yuri Tlusty works it across, and Jordan Stahl, the younger of the Stahl brothers, plays it in deep. Centering try in front for Tlusty, and he's stopped in front. Yuri Tlusty, Carolina's leading goal scorer last year and this year with 10 on the season. Kept alive by Jay Harrison, and that shot deflected out of play.
Well, this last scoring chance is a little bit similar to what was happening last night, although the Devils did tighten up a little bit. But there you see an opposition player in around the low to middle slot getting a chance to punch a shot at Marty Brodeur. The referee put the whistle in his mouth because Brodeur's mask was pushed way back, but then it righted himself and he let the play continue. But plugging up that slot has to be priority one for the Devils tonight. I just never seen anything like it was last night.
Ruutu centering try, defended away by the veteran Mike Camisari. Loose puck in front. Yager at the doorstep, has it swept away, but Travis Zajac nurses it back to the point. Shot by Marek Zidlitsky, blocked away in front. Ruutu punches it back to the point. Now Zidlitsky across. Here's Salvador. Yager to Ruutu. And punched away by the Hurricanes, but it's not out of harm's way yet as the Devils bunch up on the far side, and it's played here to Ruutu. Tuomo Ruutu throws it across, they score! Travis Zajac the finish, and the Devils have the early lead.
Well, what a great start for the Devils after last night's loss, and it also is another warning sign for the Hurricanes. They haven't been good controlling the puck in their own end. They haven't been winning battles and hounding the puck. Here again, they give it up. Beautiful saucer pass by Ruutu. Actually, I apologize. He didn't have to go saucer. The defenseman there, Steve, didn't lay a stick on the ice. That was Jay Harrison. He didn't put a stick right down on the ice. And that was a nice break for Ruutu. Gets his first point as a Devil, coming against his former teammates. And you'll see it again, but here, you see the stick's not right on the ice. I apologize, it is right on the ice. That view was different than the other. That's even a nicer play. But how about this? 2 Devils break off the boards, leaving only 1 Hurricane in front. And you just impossible to block those kinds of passes. Beautiful execution by Ruutu.
Search for the right piece also on that top line with Zajac and Yager, and that's a good start for Ruutu. Another assist for Jaromir Yager, his 35th of the season, the Devils' leader in that category. Here's Ron Hainsey now for the Hurricanes. They've missed the playoffs each of the last 4 seasons as we watch Jeff Skinner with a shot that's fired wide. Devils can't work it out of the zone. Collected here by Ryan Murphy. Mark Fane reverses the puck the other way and worked across by Patrick Elias to Big Donis Zubris. Zubris dumps in, collects himself, tries to throw it in front. Damian Brunner lurking there. Canes left the puck behind them, and it's taken away here. Steven Gionta had a stick smashed in half, and he'll skate to the bench for another. Long pass by the Canes, collected instead by Jelena. Bouncing puck taken here by John Merrill. Worked across by Carter. The rookie defense pairing is back together here. John Merrill with Eric Jelena. Brett Belmore's pass intercepted by Gionta. Worked across. Ryan Carter, the soft dump behind goal. Picked up here by Bernier. Bernier reverses course on Hainsey. Comes in front. Threw it across. It went right through the crease. Merrill in the corner. Punched ahead by the Hurricanes. Carter covering the point. Tried to slap it towards goal, but back the other way comes Laktianov. The ex-Devil tries the power move. Martin Brodeur with the puck against the side of the net. It was jarred loose. The Canes work it back to Harrison. Sent behind goal. Jelena gets rid of that. Henrique delivers a hit. And now the Devils try to punch it out of the zone. Trying to hold the zone as Jordan Staal comes away with the puck. Drops it back. Komisarek played it across behind Kalusti. Centering try went right through the crease. Pressure here by the Hurricanes. Surge by Carolina as Jordan Staal takes behind the net. Reverses course. Plays it here. Alexander Semin into the slot. Kalusti hands on a chance in front. Staal on the loose puck again. Work back to the point. Harrison's got it. His shot saved by Brodeur through traffic. Worked across again. Harrison sends it in deep. Devils need a change. Canes won't let them have it. Here's Semin at the side of the net. Takes it behind goal. Alexander Semin from the circle. Tried to pull the trigger, but skated away by Ryder. He'll dump in for Henrique, and the Devils get fresh legs on here. Big hit by Ruutu. Riley Nash went crashing into the boards. Gerby takes the puck away for Carolina. Brodeur, outlet pass, picks up Jaromir Jagr. He's over the line, puts the brakes on, sent it across for Zajac. And Gerby darts back the other way. Here's Gerby, quick shot, glove save, Martin Brodeur who holds on. 1-0.
Tonight's Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Frost Brewed, Coors Light, and it revolves around the powerless play that the Hurricanes have been suffering through. They're 29th in the National Hockey League. They're 0 for 27 their last 7 games. And what's even better news for the other team, certainly not for the Canes, is that they've allowed 4 shorthanded goals in their last 5 games. And a big one last night, Steve, to McDonough that changed the game around. So just nothing functioning well for the Canes right now.
That is the coldest of the cold hard facts that you've served up so far this year. 0 for 27, my goodness. Just with a deflection, an errant pass by someone, a missed assignment. Usually something clicks. Here's Eric Staal back the other way, but that shot deflected by the Devils. And here's Ruutu, sends Zajac on his way, and he gives it across to Jagr. Travis Zajac swats at a loose puck. Ruutu is hitting everything in sight, including his ex-teammate Brett Belmore in these opening minutes tonight as Brodeur sends it across.
Well, he's got a reputation to live up to, especially the guys on the other bench tonight. They expect it from him.
This is Tuomo Ruutu, had the puck jarred away from him, and here's Skinner sending it across, and now at the end of a shift, sends it into the Devils zone and taken here by Patrick Elias. Better than 8 minutes in. Devils with the early lead. Zubris dumps in. Elias trying to track down the loose puck. Batted out of the zone. Jordan Staal couldn't find the handle, but followed up here by Alexander Semin. Semin part of that very disappointing Russian Olympic team. Host country was medalless in Sochi.
You know, he's not having a great year this year, Steve, but there's a bunch of Hurricanes underachieving, and that's why they're It's going to take a big push for them to make the playoffs. I mean, they're going to have to win over 2/3 of the remaining games.
It's a challenge for New Jersey. Still very much alive, but the Canes are 4 points back of the Devils at the start of play tonight. Worked here to center, Adam Henry. The line had it taken off his stick by Lokdianov, and Shelanov works this across. Devils coming off last night's loss in Detroit. As Deb told you in the pregame, they've been very good on the back end of back-to-back games this season. Here's Lokdianov over the line. Lokdianov holds, played it back, and the loose puck gobbled up here by Ryan Clough. In on a breakaway, in on Khudobin. Clough shoots, and he fired it over the net. Fane pinching in. Great chance for the Devils to extend the lead on the Clough breakaway. And taken here by Carolina instead. Andy Green quickly back the other way. Good pass to Ryan Carter. His shot off the leg in front. Carter works it behind goal. Bernier back to the point. Shot by Andy Green is deflected wide. Good pressure by the Devils. Fane with a shot and a glove save made by Khudobin.
I'm chuckling because 3 Devils raised their hands, Steve, and I did too, thinking it was in the net. Whoa. Player on your right with the puck, Andre Lokdianov. He sees that his defenseman's open, or at least he thinks he is. The puck's going there. What a tip, though. That is Ryan Clough, and then he breaks away, and look at the puck roll on Ryan just as he's ready to put it in the top part of the net. It's sailed like 6 feet wide. But watch this save. We would never know how close that puck got to the net. Some thought it was in, as you see Ryan Carter. Whoa, what happened? But, Khudobin didn't see it, Steve. It pulled his glove back, and I bet you that puck was on the goal line, but it was in his mitt, so it wouldn't have counted.
Zidlitsky fires this wide. I remember Claude Julien, the Bruins head coach, talking to us last year. Khudobin was the backup last season to Tuukka Rask, saying generally he had just as much confidence in Khudobin as he did the #1 Tuukka Rask, who was among the best last year in the NHL. Belmore plays it across, and here's Andrej Sekera. Yes, the name has gone back to Sekera. We won't bore you with the details. It's taken here by Titus Zubras. It's been known to fluctuate from time to time. Back to the point and taken here by Salvador. John Merrill, the one-time shot, is blocked away.
Palusti was hurt and felled by that. He's struggling to get to the bench.
Nearly a chance for Alexander Semin, darting back with the Devils, and here's Zubras playing it across. Unable to pick up the puck is Bruner, but now off the feed from Elias. Bruner behind the net, had it jawed loose. Tries to center it for Elias, but taken away by the Canes, and Jeff Skinner works it across to Jay Harrison. Skinner following up, but taken away by Patrick Elias. Better than halfway through period 1. Devils with the early lead tonight at Prudential Center. This will be an icing call against New Jersey. Let's go downstairs. Deb Lacey. Deb.
All right, coming up on the GMC Intermission Report, we will have a chat with Tuomo Ruutu, the newest Devil playing against his former team tonight. He had the nice setup for the first goal, and 2 very special guests. Dave Maloney and EJ Redick. Hockey Night Live is on location tonight. They're going to be live here in Newark right after our game. So we'll talk to the guys as they get set for their show later and what they think about the first period so far.
Thank you, Deb. As Sekera sends this behind goal, and it's picked up or deflected away off the stick of Skinner and punched ahead by New Jersey. Change for the Devils. Andy Green works it across and picks up Mark Fane. Skates nicely into the zone, and a save by Khudobin. Well, Jaromir Jagr, his 35th assist of the season. Team MVP, I'm not sure it's even debatable at this point. His 35 assists, just one of the categories that he leads the Devils in. He is their points leader, plus 18. That leads the team. 5 game-winning goals, the all-time leader in that department, and in shots with 167. What a year. Wonder if it'll be his only one in New Jersey. Fans hoping not. Big drive off the stick of Murphy, goes wide and taken here by Shelanov. Puck winds around off the stick of Clough, following up and gloved down by big Ryan Clough as he pushes it forward. Skip and a jump by Michael Ryder. He crashes into the zone, and the Canes trying to defend him. Flo trying to gobble up the loose puck. That's Murphy, the 20-year-old rookie defenseman, under some pressure. Worked ahead nicely by Carolina, and here's Gerby the other way. Ryder pokes at a loose puck. Just over 7 minutes to go in the opening period. Three Devils bunch up behind the net. Jelena, he's the man who comes away with the loose puck. The big rookie defenseman worked it ahead. Devils will use this to get the change that they want. Third of 4 meetings between the teams this season. Division rivals for the first time this year. Devils and Hurricanes. They've played so many big series in the past. Walked down by Carter. The Devils offside here.
Well, this is not the first time that Tuomo Ruutu has played against the Hurricanes. He did it one other time. Remember, he started his career with Chicago, and he scored a goal that night. But how about tonight, Steve? He hasn't gotten the goal, but he's got an assist. So 2 points in 2 games against the Hurricanes. And, you know, a lot of people have been auditioning for that left wing spot with Zajac and Jágr. And, you know, Ruutu took a big step in landing that spot, at least for a while, with his play he made on that first goal.
He was not happy at all with his play this season in Carolina. He made that evident. Carried an 11-game goal drought to New Jersey, extended to 12 in the loss last night. He believes this can be a fresh start. So do the Devils, too. That change of scenery sometimes works. As it deflects back here, Sekera quickly to center, picked up by the man Ruutu was traded for, Lokdianov. Eric Staal's pass across, broken up, skated away by Zajac.
Oh, sorry, Steve. Lokdianov shouldn't have kicked that puck, but Staal sitting on the bench, didn't jump on the ice, recognizing he might do that.
Battle at center ice, Bernier following up and worked ahead by Jordan Staal. Tulowitzki tried to play it across for the cutting Alexander Semin, but it never got there in time. And taken here by Gionta. Steven Gionta plays this across. Jordan Staal works it back into the Devils zone. We know the talent, the great lineage of the Staal family. They haven't given the Hurricanes everything that the team probably hoped for at this point in the season.
I think that's fair, Steve. Neither one of them, Jordan or Eric, is having a gangbuster year like they hoped.
Andrei Lokdianov, just his second game. Kirk Muller loves his creative ability. So too does the general manager, Jim Rutherford. And Carolina knows there was something of a gamble here in acquiring Lokdianov. They like his puck handling ability. Jim Rutherford acknowledged at the time of the trade, he knows there's a chance Lokdianov could go back and play in Russia in the KHL at season's end as fame takes this away. Lokdianov had bona fide offers. He just wanted to stay in the NHL and play for the Devils at the start of the season.
Well, the other thing is Jimmy Rutherford unloaded a lot of salary cap space. So, you know, these GMs always got a secondary plan or a third one that's out there that they have to clear the table to get to.
Subrits in deep, Beliash in the corner. Faceoff will come outside the zone when we come back. 4:42 to go. First period, 1-0 New Jersey. Welcome back. It's time now for the Cadillac Trivia question, and we're going to take you back to the NHL draft 25 years ago. A pair of Devils Stanley Cup champions were 1989 first-round draft picks. Who were they? Give that some thought. 1/5 overall, 1/10, and I know that because I came up with the question today. They're putting me to some extra work and extra duty. With that, Jelena tries to fire in, and it deflected off the linesman, Andy McKelman. Jelena works it ahead, deflected away from Damian Brunner. Glove down at center ice. Here's Riley Nash out of Cornell University. Sends it in deep. Behind the net, Elias pokes it a loose puck, and Zubris will send the Devils' all-time scoring leader on his way. Kicked that by Elias and back to Sekera. The Slovakian defenseman plays it ahead. Here's Gerby back to Sekera, and his drive went wide of Brodor's cage. Semin along the far board, sees it nursed away. Good breakout by the Devils as Klo got it across here to Michael Ryder. Works it across, back for Klo, across for Henrique, and the gun loaded. He was closed down by Ron Hainsey.
Ron Hainsey was hurt, got struck in the mouth, seems to be okay, however.
Klo right back into the offensive zone, sent it across, and that was Henrique cutting for the net. Some pressure here by the Devils. Worked across by Michael Ryder, but intercepted by the Canes and skated away by Murphy. Here's Murphy over the line. Tries to maneuver around Zidlitsky and sticked away by Brodeur. Hainsey at the point, just taken away by Klo. He's had a good first period, except for the miss on that breakaway. Klo works it back, and the pass out of the zone. Jágr will take this. Gave it away to the stick of Drayson Bowman.
Doing that, Jágr gives it away, goes right back and takes it.
And gets the pass here from Zajac. Tries to return pass to Zajac. That's knocked away. Payne at the point. Tried to send it towards goal, and it's deflected out of play.
Well, Devils springing some openings in the Carolina defense. Here you see them coming up the ice. Michael Ryder getting to the wall, throwing it back. Nice little touch pass from Henrique over to Klo, and then when Henrique gets the return pass, Hainsey has come off the wall, and he just buries Adam Henrique. And Ron got, I think, an elbow in the face, but it wasn't a call because it wasn't initiated by Adam Henrique. But all four lines having some moments for the Devils tonight. As you mentioned, Ryan Klo line had a breakaway. They've had about 5 or 6 good scoring chances. Not just his line, but all of the Devils line. Like I said before, Steve, you'd like to get up in the 15-chance range each night if you could.
Well, on the heels of allowing 7, the flip side of that is that this team is scoring suddenly and with regularity. New Jersey lighting it up with 19 goals in the first 5 games out of the Olympic break.
Well, you know, we talked about the cold hard facts by Coors being the ineptitude of the Hurricanes. I looked at their power play. They don't have anybody at the point that can bomb it. And pardon the pun, but the Devils' power play started to gel when they brought up Eric Jelena. And there you see 16 power play points. He's second among NHL rookies.
Long shot from the point is blocked away by Brodeur. Taken away, and the backhand try by Komisarek. Brodeur with that save as well. Good sequence from Martin Brodeur. Carolina out shooting the Devils now by a 2-1 margin, 10-5. Jágr works it free to the stick of Travis Zajac. It's a 3-on-2 for the Devils if they want it. Instead, Zajac to the bench. Jelena across for Ruutu, but it's broken up. And gloved down by Damian Brunner. Just over 2 minutes to go in the opening period. Punched across to the stick of Dinas Zubras, and the pass here for Brunner. 2-on-1, he's got Elias with him. Brunner across, Elias shot, saved by Khudobin, who got the leg out.
Incredible save, Steve. Just really incredible. Khudobin had to commit so much to the puck area. I thought that puck goes to Elias. It's in the net, but he somehow found a way to recover.
Brunner punches into the corner. Zubras. Puck not by his stick. Damian Brunner will take this once again. Pass looking for Elias, but broken up and taken here by Murphy, who skates it away for Carolina. Good job by Tulowitzki to stay onside, trying to hold the zone as Jordan Staal. Couldn't do it. A bunch of Devils all over him, and Bernier skates it the other way. Steve Bernier, Devils in the midst of a change. He'll try to buy some time, and it comes back instead for Jordan Staal. Punched ahead to Tulowitzki for Carolina. Played across. Jordan Staal was just a step offside.
Yeah, only 6 shots for the Devils, but that's not indicative of the scoring chances. Bull missed a breakaway. It wouldn't be a shot on net. And then this play here, and Brunner's a shooter. So Khudobin's got to really pay attention to him and challenge him. And when Brunner niftily passes that puck back to Patrick, and Patrick's trying to go between the legs. But Khudobin is so flexible, Steve. When he goes butterfly, he can get his crotch right on the ice. So it's a complete coverage down low. A lot of goalies can get the pads, but there's an opening between the pads. But Patrick, as hot as he's been, probably still wondering. Now watch the goaltender here. He is getting right down on the ice, and he gets that big left. Oh, nice. Now, you know, Harrison moved his stick too quick, too. Harrison having a rough night on 2-on-1, Steve. He hasn't played either one of them very well.
Turnaround shot is fired wide. Under a minute to go in this opening period. Gianta tries to push this out of the zone, and with some help from Bernier does that. We're looking at another icing call with 34.8 seconds to go. Well, including tonight, Martin Brodeur has split the 6 games out of the Olympic break with Corey Schneider. These were his comments on next season. The last 18 games will tell me a lot about what I want to do next year. Unrestricted free agent at season's end. How he plays, how much he plays is what you read into that. Looks for Marty like the fire still burns, though, to continue next season.
You know, I talked to him yesterday. I said, Marty, what are the legs like? How's the explosiveness and the energy coming off stage? He said, I'm telling you, he says, I feel as good as I have, you know, in the last 5 years. He says, really no difference from anything in the past. Just haven't played as much to get that game straight that goalies look for as we see an offside. You know, and it's a tough situation. You know, I respect that Marty said, I want to play more. And now he knows I got to get out there. And I got to back those statements up with words. And then it puts Corey Schneider in a rough position, too. And you know, nobody's mad, or it's just the way hockey life is sometimes. Situations have to just unfold. And even with what Marty's going to do next year, we can all speculate and say, oh, this happened, that happens. We're not going to know. It's just going to unfold, and let's just let both goalies play. Hopefully they both are great. If you're a Devils fan and Devils find a way to get into the playoffs. Marty, a terrific first period, though.
He was perfect. He got all 10 that Carolina threw his way. Devils have the lead. This reminder to lace up the skates and experience on-ice action of being a New Jersey Devil through the eyes of the Devils alumni by signing up for the New Jersey Devils Men's Dream Day Camp. Learn the ins and outs of hockey with instruction and coaching from Devils greats Bruce Driver, Grant Marshall, Jim Dowd, and Kenny Danico. The next Men's Dream Day Camp will be held on March 20th. Log on to NewJerseyDevils.com now to secure your spot. Go downstairs. Deb Lacey is with Tuomo Ruutu.
Thank you, Steve. You thought it might be a bit strange to play against your former team. How was it?
It wasn't too strange, you know. I got a couple of hits out there, and so I was in the game, and it feels like a normal game.
Let's take a look at the one goal the Devils have tonight. Second game in, you're already up with Jaromir Jagr and Travis Zajac. You made a beautiful beautiful play on this goal. Tell us about it.
It was a great job by Jax winning the battle in the boards, and then, you know, he's going to find you when he's got the puck, and he found me, and Travis did a good job going the back door, and I was able to hit him.
How is it playing with those two guys?
It's pretty special, you know, playing with Jagr and Zajac. They're both great players. Zajac, great offensive and defensive player, and Jagr, obviously, he scored over 700 goals, so it just tells us about something.
All right, well, nice to have you. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you again in the second.
Yeah.
The Finnish native gets his 12th assist on the season, and the Devils have a 1-0 lead. We've got some special guests joining us on the GMC Intermission Report. We'll have E.J. Radick and Dave Maloney, along with Ken Danico, and it's all straight ahead.
Tuesday night, MSG Plus. It's a big division battle. The Devils take on the Flyers. Live coverage gets underway with Visa Devils game night at 6:30 p.m. Devils Flyers Tuesday night on MSG Plus. As the Devils take care of business here tonight so far, it's the A-Devils who continue a strong season in the AHL. That's Stefan Matteau. He scored in the 5th round of a shootout as Albany defeated Portland last night 4-3. Keith Kincaid, 18 saves. Second place in the Northeast Division with 30 wins. Impressive when you consider the likes of Merrill, Jelena, and others called up to the big club this year. Keeping an eye on everything that's going on throughout the National Hockey League tonight. Maple Leafs have a 2-0 lead over the Flyers. They started the season 1-7 in Philadelphia, and they're in strong playoff position. This is just a critical stretch this week for the Devils. They get Philadelphia Tuesday night, Chico.
Oh, yeah, it's not going to end. I mean, really, anyone who thinks they can predict from game to game. Like tonight, Devils have started out very well, but if you saw last night, you would have thought, so much on the line, and this is the best they can bring. Yet tonight, you see a whole different team, Steve. So from night to night, it's just going to be go and give it all you got, and when it's done, don't look in the rearview mirror. Don't even think of what happened last night. look towards the future. And so you got Luongo coming up. Florida maybe should be an easy team, but now Roberto Luongo's there. That's going to be a challenge for the Devils. And then Stamkos has come back. You know, and Callahan we're going to see next weekend. So it's just not going to end. And Marty Brodeur and Corey Schneider especially knows that. But for the Devils, as we see a bunch of line changes, I think Pete DeBoer is just hoping that he can get like 4 groups together that can even do it for 5 games. And then if he's got to switch over, that's okay. But when you have to switch, or feel you do, every 2 games, that's when it gets difficult.
And seconds in, the puck deflects out of play. The face-off will be in the neutral zone.
Well, this is a big period. You know, the Hurricanes down after last night, Steve. You know, they lost in just a crushing way. And the Devils had a good first period. But a couple people told me, I talked to Johnny McLean, he said, we won't quit. We work hard. We keep going, but we just haven't been able to put it together. So this critical period here.
Missing a couple of key defensemen. Justin Falk is the latest injury that they're coping with. Joni Pitkanen's been out the entire year. It's a big loss for Carolina going in. Marty Brodeur of the trapezoid works it away from the onrushing Elias Lindholm, and it's played here to the stick of Mark Fayne. Here's Fayne into the zone. Puck comes to Ruutu. Works it back to the point. His pass. Shot by Salvador is blocked away by Hudobin, and to the stick of Skinner. Skinner darts back the other way. Eric Staal is with him. Shot saved, and Brodeur got the rebound as well. Martin Brodeur is 11th and 12th stops of the night. Here's Lindholm with the puck. Gives here to Skinner. Another try, and he fired that wide. Early chances for the Hurricanes as Zajac takes and gives here to Ruutu. Across to Zidlitsky. Marek Zidlitsky gives here to Adam Henrique. Throws it in front. Save made by Hudobin. It's end-to-end to start period 2. Tulosti over the line. From the circle, fires it behind Brodeur. Following up is Bellemore and pokes it in deep. Here's John Merrill for the Devils to work it off glass. Second period last night, a wild one, as they told you. 7 goals scored, 5 by the opposition.
Well, a couple chances here to start this second period. It's Bryce Salvador stepping in. I don't know if it hits Zajac or the goaltender, but it's chipped off the board because Salvador taking the shot. He's caught. But there you see Jeff Skinner, who scored a goal last night. Now look at here. See, this is what he's seeing. He's seeing that 5-hole. And Marty's saying, you see that, son? But then he drops down with that right pad, takes it away, and also stuffs a rebound, Steve. So Marty Brodeur, still one of the best at showing a shooter some space and then quickly taking it away.
Here's Murphy with the puck for Carolina. Nurses it across, and Gerby's over the line for the Hurricanes. His shot handled by Brodeur and taken here by Zubris ahead to Patrick Elias. Patrick Dwyer able to work this across. New Jersey Devils hockey being presented to you by PartyPoker.com. Dwyer puts it behind the net. This plops right in front of Brodeur, who covers up.
Well, you know, Steve, fans forget about you when you get old. Now, look at this guy here, Dave Lewis, good friend of mine. He had a great career in the NHL. Was a New Jersey Devil for a couple of years and was a great teammate. But then he went on to coaching. I just got to tell you, Nicholas Lidstrom couldn't thank everybody, didn't. But that huge ceremony that we saw Thursday night, he did a shout out to Dave Lewis. He said, Dave Lewis, he says, I want to thank you. You taught me how to play defense in the National Hockey League. And Lidstrom was one of the best. Of course, he came from Sweden, as you know, Steve, so he had to kind of learn the nuances of the NHL game, and Davey Lewis was there to teach him, and that was quite a tribute to Lewis as well as it was to Lidstrom.
Lewis, that stay-at-home defenseman, a rock, as you mentioned, and part of one of the biggest trades in Islanders history, certainly, along with Billy Harris. That was Butch Goring, who was acquired from the LA Kings in that deal. And the rest, as they say, is history. Let's watch Steven Gianta work it loose behind the net. Zidlitsky in the circle. It's jarred loose. That's Bernier, who got one shot away. It was blocked and taken by Bernier and worked back to the point.
Off no stick. So it's really a 5-on-4.
Taken here by Connor, and a shot deflected, and Hudobin got a piece of that and skated away by Semin. Alexander Semin in the direction of Bowman, who heads to the bench. Here's Salvador for the Devils. His pass intercepted. Eric Staal gobbles this up, works it deep into the Devils zone. Bouncing puck in front of Brodeur. It's played here by Eric Staal again. Centering try. He was looking for Skinner in front. Glove down by Ryder and punched out to center. How good was the Canadian Olympic team? Think of the centers who were left off the roster as Brodeur makes that save. Follow-up try by Eric Staal, and it's blocked away.
Nice play by Salvador.
Staal works it across. Skinner couldn't collect the pass cleanly. Oh, he should have gotten a shot off on Brodeur. Did not. It's played across to Murphy. He plays it across, and one pass too many to Skinner, and the puck taken by Clough.
Not a good choice there by Murphy. He had people in front of the net.
Henrique to Ryder. Back to Henrique. Crashes the net. Hudobin made a stop. And the Hurricanes work it to Jordan Staal. Taken here by Clough as the Devils send it right back in. Michael Ryder tried to throw it in front. Clough used the long reach, and the Devils send it back behind goal. Brian Clough got to a loose puck. Centering try. Shot by Zajac. Saved by Hudobin. It's loose at the side of the net. Comes out to Andy Green. His wrist shot is blocked away. That's Skinner who got a piece of that. Devils stay with the play. Here's Mark Fane. Another try, and Hudobin has got it and holds on.
Well, first it's the Hurricanes swirling and twirling around Marty Brodeur, who's got to make a good save there. And then the rebound. Salvador realizes Brodeur might not be over yet, so he goes down and blocks Eric Staal. And then, as you see, this pass in front is misplayed. The Devils are able to get the puck, and youngster Ryan Murphy, number 70, gives the puck away. Then he gets caught behind Zajac, and you know what? Yager would have put it in, but he hit the leg of Zajac, and he couldn't follow through to put the puck in the net.
Here's Yager playing it across. Ruutu in front, trying to find the handle and couldn't. Green throws it back into the corner, and Zajac quickly on the loose puck. Gives to Yager. Cycles for Ruutu. Good pressure by this line, and Hudobin had to make a stick stop in front. Semin skates it back the other way. Alexander Semin shot. Andy Green got a stick on that. Opening 5 minutes, second period. Devils still with the 1-0 lead, courtesy of Zajac's 11th. Ruutu throws it towards goal. Hudobin will hold on to this.
I think he's just tired, Steve. I think Hudobin after last, he just had a lot of time to play it, but he's just beat already. The Devils just all over him, and this guy here, Patrick Elias, 16th career shorthanded goal last night at Detroit. Now remember, that's the second most in Devils history. He's inching closer to John Madden, who we'll see down in Florida behind the bench in a week.
Redirected in front, saved by Hudobin again. That was a great chance for Dina Zubris.
Well, you know, when you got Cam Ward available, you would think, well, why would you play Hudobin back-to-back games? He had 40-some shots last night, but now I see why Kirk Muller has chosen him. He has been absolutely brilliant again. And, you know, lucky for the Hurricanes, Bruins just had too many goalies. And they had to get rid of one, and he landed in Carolina.
It appears he is the future, signing a 2-year extension. Well, you mentioned Cam Ward. He is the backup here tonight, Chico. He's watched Hudobin start 21 of the last 24. Cam Ward has 2 years left on the very lucrative contract that he signed with Carolina. It's a $6.2 million cap hit. Even if they want to move him, and perhaps they did at the deadline, it would be very difficult to do so. Great pedigree there. There's a Conn Smythe Trophy winner sitting on the bench, their hero in 2006. A rough spot for him, clearly.
A little similar to the Brodeur situation. If a trade had been available that was absolutely right, I think both New Jersey and Carolina would have traded their goalies. The two we mentioned, Brodeur and Ward. But Cam Ward is in a tough spot because he's a young guy. I mean, he's not like Marty Brodeur winding up his career. He should have a lot of goaltending left in front of him, but I don't know that it's going to be here in Carolina from what we've seen this year.
Turned 30 years old recently, Cam Ward. Has some hockey left, you would think. Thrown in front, and that try is intercepted by Steve Bernier. There have been some injury issues for Cam Ward that have played some role in this, but Hudobin has emerged as the #1.
Welcome back to The Rock. The Devils are hosting a huge group of Special Olympians at the game tonight. TJ Nelliken is the president and CEO of Special Olympics USA. And the Special Olympics are coming to New Jersey and The Rock this summer. Tell us about it.
That's right. We have 3,500 athletes from all 50 states coming to New Jersey in June to compete in 16 different Olympic-type sports. But the best part is the 3-time Stanley Cup champion Devils and the Prudential Center are going to host our crown jewel, which is the opening ceremonies, right here on June 15th.
All right, so we're so excited to have you guys, really looking forward to it. And it looks like they're having a pretty good time tonight.
The athletes are here in force tonight. The Devils were kind enough to host us for Special Olympics night. And we have the dancers and the cheerleaders and the Devil in here. We're having a blast.
All right, and we'll see you for the opening ceremonies and some of the amazing things that you do. We thank you for that. We'll see you this summer.
We're looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Deb. And at the
Awesome.
tail end,
Well,
you
Jim
call
Skinner
it.
scored.
Call it like it's live.
Here we go. The shot from the point. Difficult in slow motion, Chico.
Well, it goes
deflects
wide.
off Brodeur, and there's Skinner. That's a second goal in as many games.
Yeah, Skinner just chips this thing. He doesn't let it settle down, and Mark Fein can't get to it. And Marty now is on the right side, and it turned around. Steven, it just hit his mitt and went in the net. A simple play. Devils lost the face-off. Shot went wide, came out the other side, and then you saw the result.
Well, Jeff Skinner with his 25th goal of the season. Bit of a fluky play, but nevertheless good enough to tie up the game. And the Devils now work it out to center with Damian Brunner. And fired back in by Ron Hainsey. Carolina on the scoreboard with its 15th shot of the night as Elias works it back the other way. Picked up at center ice by Semin. Following up is Eric Stahl. It was jarred off his stick and controlled by Dinas Zubris. Over the line is Zubris. Elias cutting for the net. The trailer here is Fein, and a shot that's blocked away. And taken by Semin. Alexander Semin back the other way for Carolina. Puts the brakes on and tries to feed Eric Stahl. It's taken instead by Henry. Sekera and Eric Stahl get the assists on the tying goal at 6:21. Here's Michael Ryder shooting, and a save by Khudobin. Back to the point, and that shot by Andy Green is deflected out of play.
Well, let's look at the goal. Now you're going to see, we've already lost. Travis Zajac lost the draw. It goes back. But see how that puck bounced wide? Now Skinner's a goal scorer. And you know, you've seen, folks have seen enough ricochets from behind the goal line. Players are now just playing the bank shot. And there you see Skinner spinning that puck. And as Marty spins and looks at it, Steve, it's right on his left hand. So he can't even turn his glove to catch it. It hit the webbing and dropped into the net.
And Sekera sends this into the Devils zone. No icing here. Salvador with Talusti on his back. There's a penalty coming up. This will be against Yuri Talusti.
Well, Adam Henrique steps in, has a few words with Talusti, but doesn't want to get a penalty himself. And Bryce Salvador trying to shake it off. I don't know he or John Merrill, who actually got squashed behind the net. We'll see it on the replay, but the Devils should go on a power play. Here you see it is. No, it's the captain now. You know what? Talusti did not do anything. Bryce knows it. Bryce just got, it's kind of like a skier. His legs started to go wide, Steve, and he couldn't pull him back in. And I thought it was maybe a stick in the skate, but it was not. And so Talusti got called, but probably was a borderline. Bryce is okay, and the Devils go on the power play nevertheless.
Power play was 0 for 3 last night at Detroit, ranked 9th in the league, and this Devils power play is brought to you by PartyPoker.com. If you can dream it, you can win it on Party Poker. Wraparound try by Yager is knocked away and sent the length of the ice.
Well, the first thing we're looking for, Steve, on the Devils power play is their breakout. That's the number one thing that's broken down since they were on that roll. And they're not coming up in formation, and they're not getting the opposition's blue line very easily.
Taken by Zidlitsky. He's bothered by Nathan Gerby, and that problem continuing at least at the start here as Elias works it across.
I see the other coaches have watched the Devils power play, and they said they're struggling coming out of their own end in the neutral zone. Jump them as quickly as you can.
Elias got it back to the point by Zajac. Shot by Zidlicky. Rebound try by Bruner, and it's in. It quickly popped out, but the signal from the referee, Damian Bruner, power play goal for a 2-1 lead.
Well, the Boards have gotten 2 assists tonight. We saw it earlier with the Skinner goal, and here again the Devils do get it across the line, and just a big blast that goes wide. And there you see Damian Bruner waiting for that thing to settle down somewhat, but it's still on end, and he's got to do a good job. He knows the goalie's going to be diving back. That's a beautiful look at our low-angle camera, and Damian Bruner breathes a sigh of relief, Steve, as he finally gets another one.
His 10th of the year. And quickly, the Devils regain the lead as John Merrill goes back in his own end. New Jersey at the start of play tonight. 5 behind the Rangers, 4 behind Detroit. Here's Henrique, and on a backhand, he scores! Adam Henrique!
Mr. Automatic. I mean, every time he gets the puck now around the net, you're expecting the red light to start shining. And it does once again. And Steve, I'm just telling you, like, the skill level that Adam has expressed over the last 7-8 games. Like, here again, folks, watch what he does. He's going to spin around here. He's on his forehand, but then he just goes backhand, continues with the puck. Nice pass there by Clough. Watch, he's going away, and he's got to throw that thing right up under the crossbar, and he does. And that's his 22nd, and I don't want to get ahead of myself, put too much pressure on him, but when 20 wasn't looking good, now 30 is in his sights, I'm sure.
On Khudobin, that's where you want to put the puck, isn't it?
Well, certainly anyone who could put it where Henrique did is going to have a better chance to score.
Now Skinner trying to answer for Carolina. He's closed down by Andy Green. So like last night, the goal's starting to come fast and furious in period 2.
Yeah, Damian Bruner had been 11 games since his last goal. I knew it had been a while, so good for him, and that's got to help his confidence.
Sekera without a stick, boots this to Murphy, and quickly across, here's to Lustig. Directed by Jordan Staal, and Brodeur made the save. Devils try to break out, but that deflects off Damian Bruner, and it's punched out to center. Semin gets it back. His shot, Brodeur got a piece of that. Following up is Semin at the doorstep, but couldn't get a shot away. Centering try by Carolina is taken away here by New Jersey, and Andy Green holds and backs it away. Puck never came out of the zone. It's taken here by Jordan Staal. Throws it in front. The redirection went wide. The game is loosening up on both ends once again. Here's Alexander Semin at the circle. Oh, he fanned on that shot. Taken away by Zajac. And Green deep in his own end. Nailed by Jordan Staal, and the puck taken away. But to the stick of Tuomo Ruutu, who lifts it out to center. Better than halfway through regulation time. Devils with the 3-1 lead as it's taken here at center ice by Patrick Elias. Offside is the call here. Bruner's 10th, Zidlicky and Zajac on the power play, and then Henrique, his 22nd from Clough.
Devils made the Hurricanes pay for some poor penalty killing. There you see Gervais Falls. Now that's Bruner, he's the other defenseman. Smartly, he goes down low. Normally he's at the point, but when he sees that Zidlicky's going to wire it, he goes down low, the rebound comes to him, and so that goal is scored on the power play, and just moments after, Clough with the pass, and like you say, Steve, I mean, you're right. You could say, well, Khudobin is weak up high, and I know that's not what you were saying, but when a player makes a move like that and lifts it up over your shoulder, I don't know how you stop it. You got to almost guess. He would have had to attack Adam to prevent that, and most goalies, that's not their style.
Just the law of physics. You alluded to it earlier about the butterfly nature of Khudobin's game. He just gives very little down low, so stands to reason. I'm sure these are things that the Devils and their coaching staff all point to. with the opposing goaltender as they take a 3-1 lead, and Brodeur has this behind the net. Worked here to the stick of Elias and deflected out to center. So a good response by the Devils after that game-tying goal by Jeff Skinner. Murphy for Carolina lifts into the Devils zone. Full house at Prudential Center on this Saturday night. Critical points at stake for each team. Salvador at center ice. Here's Klub. Took a bump from Lokdianov, taken here by Semin. Twirls away from Giunta. Alexander Semin, nice little move. Now tries to take it down low. Sealed off by Zidlitsky. Still going as Semin. And all that work forced a penalty. The Canes will go on the power play.
Well, Alexander Semin has some skills that just jump out at you. He's not a complete player, and he's not going to get it done for you defensively all the time, Steve. And that's one of the reasons why he's moved around a little bit. However, when he is cooking with his skill, he is one of the best. Aha! It's not Steven Giunta. I thought it was Steven Giunta's stick. It's number 30, Marty Brodeur, with the slice around of the stick, chopping the skates out from under Semin. So Marty Brodeur now, as very unusual, Steve, goalie's got to kill his own penalty or help at least.
And Bernier is the man who will serve it. Devils penalty kill, top ranked in the NHL for a good stretch. Struggled a bit the last 2 games, and it's dropped to number 2 behind Pittsburgh. So Martin Brodeur, the tripping penalty. That's Lindholm who overskated the puck, and shorthanded come the Devils the other way. Here's Travis Zajac on the move for New Jersey. Tries to work around Murphy, and taken away by Sekera. Zajac winning a puck battle. Works it back towards center ice and controlled by Fane, who fires back in. Good start to the penalty kill. Elias and Henrique. Each dangerous shorthanded, each with a pair of shorthanded goals this season, and Elias nearly with the takeaway at center.
Ooh, Ryan Murphy having a rough night, Steve. Number 7.
Elias drops for Henrique here. His shot, score! Adam Henrique again! Second of the game.
Aha, and a milestone for Mr. Henrique. He ties John Madden, the great John Madden, for the most shorthanded goals by a Devil in their history. But in the neutral zone, I just mentioned Ryan Murphy having a terrible night. Number 7 tried twice. This is the second time. He tries to just hit a guy in traffic, and then, oh, what a play by Elias. Oh my, Steve, did you see what Patrick did? He dropped the puck. Now watch how he turns. He doesn't want to get hit in the back legs, but he spins here and pushes off of Sekera, and then Ryan Murphy is caught in no man's land. He provides a bit of a screen, and oh, again, what a shot though, hey? Right where the crossbar is welded to the goalpost, and Hudobin, who's played so well tonight, is heading to the bench. First time in his season he's given up more than 3 goals. It's 4, and there's 7:09 left to go, and let's see. Devils continue to put pucks in the net, Steve. They are doing that.
Now, Elias and Henrique, we're thinking about them as 2 peas in a pod. It was Patrick Elias who was 1 goal behind John Madden's record.
Oh, excuse me,
but
yes.
It's both of them right now just on fire, whether it's shorthanded, even strength, or power play. Henrique, his 3rd shorthanded goal of the year.
Yeah, I had it written down here too. It's only Henrique's 9th career. Sounded good though, eh? Did I sell that or what?
Well, stick around. We might see some history in that part of it before all is said and done.
His second game in 23rd of the season, assisted by...
And that continues to be an Achilles heel for the Carolina Hurricanes. They've allowed 5 shorthanded goals in the last 6 games. Semin plays it across. The continuation of the power play. A shot by Harrison. He scores. Jay Harrison beats Martin Brodeur to make it 4-2.
Well, Alexander Semin keeps trying to force this pass, Steve, and he shouldn't have. It gets blocked, but he goes right back to it. But it somehow bounces around and jumps on the stick of Harrison. And watch here, Semin tries to force it, comes back to him, forces it again, but I think it hits the skate of Jordan Staal, who's spinning around. Watch right here. It's going to hit Staal right there. Hits his left foot, He's able to jump out of the way of Harrison. What a broken play that worked out perfectly for the Hurricanes. And that was a terrific shot by Harrison. His fourth of the season.
The Oshawa native to get the Canes right back within 2. So what is it about the water being served in the second period of these games? 7 goals last night. And suddenly an explosion once again this evening. 5 so far with 6:18 to go. Faceoff will come outside the zone here. Let's go downstairs. Kenny Danico's with us. Kenny.
Steve, Chico, you guys talked about it. I don't know what's going on with the second period the last couple of nights, but there's goals going in everywhere. And talking about feeling it, Adam Henrique continues his fine play. But if I'm the Devils, they have to stay patient in their end. Sticks in the lane, play a good, solid defensive structure. Don't get away from it.
Look out, Elias Lindholm, just as you were wrapping up that report, Kenny. And the puck went off his stick right in front of the net. Henrique, everything he's touching is golden right now. That pass taken away by Eric Stahl, though. Here's the Hurricanes captain. Soft shot, sticked aside by Brodeur. Zidlitsky back in his own end. Sekera trying to hold the zone, but it's worked ahead to the stick of Michael Ryder. He's in alone, and a wrist shot deflects away. Just over 5.5 to go in the second. 4-2, the Devils on top. Back to the Cadillac trivia question. We told you a pair of Devils Stanley Cup champions were 1989 first-round draft picks. That's a quarter of a century ago. Who were they? Chico, you said you thought you had one.
Jay Pandolfo?
Oh, no.
No.
Not a first-rounder, Pandolfo.
Okay.
So, the 5th overall pick in that draft was Bill Guerin, drafted by the Devils. Bobby Holik was also a first-rounder of the Hartford Whalers, who became the team we're watching tonight, Carolina. 10th overall was Holik.
I'm going to have to get on Johnny McLean. He's the one who told me with Jay Pandolfo. I know I'm passing the buck, but that's what he said. I said, all right, thanks, Johnny.
Taken here, turnaround shot, save made as Brodeur denies Riley Nash. Terrific chance by Carolina to get within 1. And things have been fast and loose in the second period. Gionta slowed up, but undeterred, crashes into the zone, and now Ryan Carter takes. Carter tries to walk in front with it, got a shot away. It's at the side of the net and taken away by Carolina. Pitching in, holding the zone, Marek Zidlitsky. On the last Carolina goal, Jay Harrison, power play goal. Semin and Jordan Stahl with the assists at 13:24. Here's Andy Green at center ice. Just over 4.5 to go in the middle period. Here's Zajac for the Devils. Ruutu at the side of the net, had it knocked off his stick. So penalty coming up.
Could be more than 2.
It's against New Jersey. Someone got Riley Nash up high, and now we'll sort this out.
And they're looking at Riley Nash right now as he's over to the bench. They're trying to see if he is cut. And, I couldn't tell you, but we'll hear moments from now his ex-teammate Ruutu trying to lift a stick here. Oh boy, I'll be very happy if he's not cut. Tuomo Ruutu, he comes up pretty hard on this one. Oh my! I think it got more shield, but nevertheless, it is only 2 minutes.
And so the Devils' penalty kill. A dangerous penalty kill with Henrique on the ice with Elias will go to work once again. 3 straight games, Devils have scored 4 or more goals now. That's the first time this season they've done so in 3 straight. Off the draw, taken by Andy Green, and the quick clear by New Jersey.
Well, since the break, Steve, against Columbus 5, Islanders 6, San Jose dipped to 2, but then Detroit 4, and tonight 4 already. So obviously their biggest scoring outburst of the season is occurring right now.
Seemed to be a priority, finding extra scoring. Semin pulls the trigger, and a save by Brodeur. Rebound came loose. Semin sees it knocked off his stick by Adam Henrique. Work back to the point. Here's Sekera. Lukianov Back to the point. Sekera with a drive off a body in front and swept away by Henrique. Here's Lokdianov. He's got that roll on the half-board sheet, though. We didn't see that in New Jersey's power play. Murphy takes this. Tuomo Ruutu, just 2 minutes for high sticking at 15:36. Over the line is Skinner. He's slowed up. Zajac for the Devils shorthanded. Batted out of midair, and Skinner takes this. Left the puck behind him, and Zubris now twirls and dishes across for Zajac. Zajac shoots, save made by Cam Ward. And controlled by Carolina. Here's the smooth skating Jeff Skinner to center. Backhands one in. Lindholm will get chase. Andy Green, first man on the puck. And Zubris will lift it away. Half a minute to go in the Hurricanes power play. 2:40 to go in the second period. Hainsey will play this back to Harrison. At last check, Toronto leading Philadelphia 2-0 in their game tonight. The Capitals trailing Phoenix 2-0. Carter, shorthanded, controls and sends it the length of the ice. That'll just about do it on a pretty good penalty kill for New Jersey. Just one shot for the Hurricanes. Twisting and turning at center. That's Dwyer, who was held up at the blue line. Now Nash with a shot. Brodeur got a piece of that, but it stays in play. Patrick Dwyer in the offensive zone for Carolina. Battling for the puck, John Merrill in the corner. Canes trying to make something of this with 1:45 to go in the period, but the loose puck comes here to Damian Brunner. And work back towards Brett Bellemore. 4-2 the score. Devils trying to bounce back from a loss last night in Detroit and leading by 2. Derby turns, sent it towards goal. Puck came off a lively backboard, and Bellemore sends it back in deep. Merrill in his own end. Now gets some help from Zubris, who goes and crashes into Gerby. No whistle yet. The puck keeps moving. Taken away by the Canes. Big shot by Semin is saved by Brodeur. Alexander Semin with a rocket to test Marty and played back into the Devils zone. And a stoppage in play with 59 seconds to go. Here's a look at our Chase So You Can Eastern Conference standings. The Devils 4 behind the Red Wings. Detroit has a game at hand. 5 behind the third-place Rangers in the Metropolitan Division. The Hurricanes need a come-from-behind win tonight. They're in danger of falling out of it. They've lost 5 of 6 out of the Olympic break already. They had that difficult 5-game road trip right off the bat. And then the loss at home to the Rangers last night. Here's Jaromir Jagr for the Devils. Taken away by Semin and played ahead to Lokdianov. Harrison over the line, lifted ahead, and gloved down by Harrison. But following up here is Zajac trying to play it across for the cutting Jagr, but defended away.
Lokdianov using those defensive skills he learned here in New Jersey. Does a nice job on the back check.
And sent back into the Canes zone. Final 22 seconds as Semin takes. Canes with another rush here. Drayson Bowman. Poke checked away by Zidlitsky. And taken here by Adam Henrique. Already a big night for him with 2 goals. Bellemore. Back-to-back multi-goal games for Adam Henrique. Second star of the week a week ago. A chance to be #1 maybe this time. Second period comes to an end. It's 4-2 Devils.
Devils outscore the Canes again in the second period. And they are in great shape, Steve. If they could just, as Kenny Daneyko said in the middle of the period, just try to control the game a little more. But it's difficult when you got a team like the Hurricanes who are kind of helter-skelter run and gun. It's hard to not get into that game, and that's what the Devils will be talking about between the second and third period.
A lot went on in that second period. They'd like things to slow down a bit, perhaps. Pop superstar Katy Perry is returning to Prudential Center for 2 nights this summer when she brings the Prismatic World Tour to the Rock on July 11th and 12th. Be sure to catch all of her #1 hits from her new album, Prism, including Roar and Dark Horse. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com or visit PruCenter Devils.com for more information. We'll step aside at the Rock, take a quick timeout. The Maven is in the house on this Saturday night. He'll reflect back towards trade deadline day, which is passed, and the Mazda second intermission report coming up next. Tonight's second period scoring summary is brought to you by Hyundai. This was a tied hockey game, 6:21 into the second period when Jeff Skinner scored, but then the Devils in a blitz. 2 goals, 23 seconds. Damian Brunner and Adam Henrique. Henrique added another shorthanded goal at 12:51 before Jay Harrison made it 4-2. Devils with 23 shots, Carolina with 22. Third period set to go. Kirk Muller puts the Stahl brothers together to start the third period. That man, Adam Henrique, his 2 goals the difference. Jordan Stahl, Eric Stahl with Alexander Simmons. So a big top line constructed by Carolina. And off the draw, it's taken here by Simmons. He loses the puck to Travis Zajac. Murphy for Carolina. Devils trying to bounce back from last night's 7-4 defeat at the hands of the Red Wings. Murphy lost his edge on a smooth sheet of ice as it's taken here by the Devils. Andy Green works it ahead, and Jágr sends Tuomo Ruutu on his way. He'll lift in on his former teammate, Cam Ward, who swats it away. Just joining us, it's Anton Khudobin, who started the game for Carolina. Gave up 4 for the first time this season, and Ward coming on in relief. Ryan Clough works it ahead to Michael Ryder. And across to John Miller. Into the Carolina zone. Elias Lindholm is back. Icing is waved off as it comes back the other way. And Merrill on the puck quickly across to the stick of Michael Ryder. Devils scoring goals. As a team, Ryder is mired in an 18-game goal drought. Henrique takes the puck and works it back here to Bryce Salvador. Held the zone, but now swatted out to center, and Adam Henrique plays it across. Here's Ryder. Nice little maneuver. Got it to Clough, and that shot is saved by Cam Ward. Henrique dishes off to Ryder. Here's the veteran wing. Plays it in front. Off Henrique's skate, and back to the point where Salvador sees this deflect out of play. These two teams familiar with each other. Martin Brodeur has been in goal for all 4 of those Stanley Cup playoff series against the Carolina Hurricanes. Devils won in the first meeting in 2001, the conference quarterfinals. The Hurricanes exacted their revenge a year later in the conference quarters and also defeated the Devils 2 other times as a shot by Elias is covered up here by Cam Ward.
Well, the Hurricanes, Steve, now they've given up another shorthanded goal. It's amazing. How about 5 goals in their last 6 games when they've had the man advantage? You know, what do you say about that? Poor Kirk Muller. You know, you're just flabbergasted. You just think, guys, like, how can we be that careless? That is not a coaching situation. You know, that's a player focus that just isn't there. And really, it's frustrating because these guys are pros.
Godlitsky plays it down low. We've seen that energize the Devils in recent games. It's deflating when it happens to you, isn't it?
Well, it really is, and they're pros, and they're making a run for the playoffs, and this is what you come up with, guys. And I think that's what's mind-boggling now, but at the same time, you can't eliminate sometimes who you are as a player. The Hurricanes just haven't been very good lately.
3-on-2, Derby in front for Riley Nash, and he was stopped. And Marty Brodeur has it somewhere.
Well, it seems like Jaromir Jágr is popping up in some graphics, Steve, every game. And once again, you see what he's done against these Hurricanes. That's 111 points in only 77 games. 5 points already this season. And he's just, I don't know, his pace to me, Steve, doesn't change from game to game.
On the score sheet again tonight is Jágr, saved by Brodeur on the shot from the point by Harrison, and the puck pops loose, and Jágr in the corner Saw it taken away briefly, but it comes here to Tuomo Ruutu, who plays it across and finds Jagr. Jaromir Jagr dishes it back. Shot by Mark Fane is saved by Ward. Big stop by Ward to keep Carolina in the game. And picked up here by Jordan Staal. Offside on the play is Carolina.
Well, again, Devils getting in trouble off the draw. And Jordan Staal having a good night. He picks it clean from Zajac. But Zajak's in front, wants Travis here. Doesn't have a stick, but he gets his feet in the mix. It doesn't allow Jordan Staal to really get a good shot. Nice little dish there to Fane from Jagr, and Cam Ward coming out, catches that in the middle of his body and makes a good save. But as I said, Steve, still high quality scoring chances by both teams, and I suspect it's going to continue.
Off the draw, taken away by Carolina, and here's Lokdianov darting back the other way. Crosses up with Skinner, and collected here by Steven Gionta. 3-on-2 the other way. Bernier holds, throws it towards goal, and off the stick of Andrej Sekera. That's Gionta, who delivered a big hit on Sekera and now heads to the bench. Bernier tied up in the corner. Quick shot by Marek Zidlitsky goes wide. New Jersey Devils hockey being brought to you tonight by PartyPoker.com. Opening minutes of the third, it's 4-2 Devils. Gionta went to the bench to get another stick, and a shot by John Merrill is blocked away in front. Carter and Gionta cross up, and Skinner is able to take this out to center. Zidlitsky back in his own end, has this for New Jersey. Lokdianov able to hold the zone, gets this to Skinner. He's just shoved down by Zidlitsky, and a good hit by Marek as it's gloved down by Jay Harrison.
And then you know what? Skinner goes after Gionta, and then Steven with a little slash. And is it going to be Skinner that's headed to the box?
63, 2 minutes left.
40, yeah.
It's time for the PNC.
Skinner, first of all, got the wrong guy. He got a little embarrassed. He got tossed around there earlier by Zidlitsky. Here's the one early. Oh, what a check by Steven Gionta. And right there, so now then Skinner's mad at Zidlitsky. I'm not sure that was a penalty, though. But anyway, Devils go back on the power play.
And this Devils power play brought to you by PartyPoker.com. If you can dream it, you can win it on Party Poker. Devils power play 1-for-1 so far tonight, but a chance shorthanded here for the Canes. Patrick Dwyer in, shoots and a save by Brodeur. At the side of the net, Dwyer on a second try is denied. Golden chance for the Hurricanes to get within one. And now Bruner holds. Chased back in his own end is Damian Bruner. And across for Elias, he'll let Zidlitsky skate it up. Jagr, nice little dish to Elias, who's over the line. Plays this to Zajac, and a shot fired wide. Bruner worked it across, and that pass intercepted. Jordan Staal plays it ahead. Nathan Gerbe is in on Brodeur. He scores! Another shorthanded goal tonight. Gerbe to make it a 4-3 Devils lead.
Oh, Gerbe taking ripping a page out of Adam Henrique's scoring book on how to score a breakaway goal, but the Devils dodged the bullet earlier where Brodeur made the save. But look at Gerbe, much like Henrique, although he didn't really turn his body. I don't think he got as much on this as he would have liked to. Didn't get it as high, but I think he picks the inside of the post. Oh, this is a nice, off the toe of Marty Brodeur. I thought it had hit something. It hit Marty's toe and went up into the top part of the net. But Steve and Kenny was saying the same thing. You know, I've been saying the Devils cannot clamp down on this game, and I don't think it's going to change because the Hurricanes have just been a run-and-gun team all season.
See if they can still make something of this power play, Chico. Harrison back in his own end, batted down by Clough, but worked ahead. Look out, Eric Staal shorthanded, and this time Brodeur with the glove save.
3 good scoring chances when you're shorthanded. Haven't seen that.
Gelinas darts back the other way and leaves for Ryder. Michael Ryder at the circle. Nice little maneuver. He shoots off a stick, and it deflects out of play.
Well, this is kind of unbelievable. Devils get caught 3 times, and Brodeur gets 2 of them, and 1 is in the net. And here you're going to see it again, Steve. And Eric Stahl going high glove. Marty Brodeur looking for it, grabs it, plays it up the ice. You see a lot of time left.
Gerby's 13th of the year to make this a 1-goal game. Jordan Stahl gets the lone assist. That's his 2nd of the night. Gerby's had a good year after a couple of years with the Buffalo Sabres. Merrill plays it across. Sidlitsky on the one-timer. Didn't get all of it. 30 seconds to go on the Devils' power play. Jágr trying to get to the loose puck, but skated away by the Hurricanes, and Bellemore will play it in deep. Merrill leaves behind the net for Sidlitsky. Time for another rush. 15 seconds to go on the Devils' man advantage. Elias plays it across, batted down with a high stick. Sidlitsky trying to hold the zone. It's still in. He dumps into the corner, and now Elias jars it loose. Elias Lindholm tied up by Zajac, taken away by Hainsey. Skinner's out of the box. Penalty time is up. And now Jeff Skinner darts into the Devil zone on a backhand, floats it into the chest protector of Marty Brodeur, and will step aside. 13:52 to go in the third. It's a 1-goal game. Tonight's upcoming schedule is brought to you by Lexus. Keep in mind, after this 3-game road trip, the Devils finish the season with 10 of their last 14 at home. At Philadelphia Tuesday night, and then back-to-back games in Florida. At Florida, the Panthers on Friday, Tampa Bay on Saturday night. We might get Luongo Schneider again when we go down
yeah,
south.
that's
we
right.
had it much earlier in the year in Vancouver. Here it's a 1-goal game. Hurricanes have fired 30 shots at the Devils' net. New Jersey 27. Turnaround try by Semin and a save by Brodeur. Michael Ryder into the Carolina end. No icing here. Centering try by Henrique is defended away by Ryan Murphy. The captain, Eric Stahl, plays it across. Big physical line that's been put together here in the third for Carolina. The Stalls and Semin. Offside is New Jersey here. Coming up, the Foxwoods Final Five. Foxwoods, your destination for endless excitement.
Well, Jágr, we talked about him in relationship to Mario Lemieux and Marcel Dionne and all those 700 goal scorers. But here's a new one, Steve. At 42 years of age, 20 days, he's the 2nd oldest player this season to score 20 goals in a season. You see, Gordy was 42 and the number of days there. But however, remember, if Jágr plays next year and scores 20, he will have a record that's even beyond Gordie Howe, which would be very impressive.
I wouldn't bet against it.
Oh.
Taken here by Zubris. Deflects back towards the point. Oh, great job by Salvador to hold the zone. And Elias plays it in for Zubris. Brunner behind the net. Back to the point. Salvador again. Ladles it back to Brunner. Jay Harrison delivers a hit on him, but the Devils, unrelenting, see Salvador send it right back in. This is where they want to play the game. With the 1-goal lead. Turnaround try by Brunner is cracked off the glass behind Ward. Zaluski sealed off by Salvador again. The ex-Devil Lakianov. Between 2 former teammates, now Skinner sees it drawn away from him, and Gianta takes the puck for the Devils. Works it out of the zone. With Carter and Bernier. Offside is the call here. The game recap is brought to you by our Tri-Honda dealers. Tuomo Ruutu has his first point as a Devil, an assist early in the game. Jeff Skinner has scored. Adam Henrique, that's all he seems to do. 2 more goals tonight. He's scored in each of the last 6.
I think what makes Devils fans nervous, Steve, the Devils have the 4-1 lead. They've seen so many games where these Hurricanes have found a way to come back and win or get a point. And right now I'm kind of thinking, boy, the Devils are playing a very dangerous game.
And these are a critical final 12 minutes here for this team as it's banked out of the zone by Bernier. Icing is the call as Murphy won the race to the dot. We keep talking about Jaromir Jagr. We can reference him in so many ways. There was so much concern about bringing a 41-year-old who became 42 in midseason. He has not broken down. To the contrary, he's one of 5 players so far this year to have played every game on this team, along with Henrique Ryder Green and Dainius Zubrus.
And that's not counting the Olympics.
Worked ahead, busting through traffic is Steve Bernier. And Harrison able to recover. He swung his stick around somewhat recklessly, got away with it, and taken by Carolina's Eric Staal. Semin will fire in. Marty Brodeur works into the corner. 11 and a half to go. A lot of time left. Devils trying to protect this 1-goal advantage. Worked out to center. Hainsey on the puck for Carolina. Fires right back in on the delayed offside. Fame will take this for New Jersey. John Merrill, long pass looking for Jagr. Ward's been perfect so far since coming in. Gets the snow shower and a stoppage in play.
Well, you know, it's funny how things can turn around. Now, Cam Ward kind of was stuck on the bench there, Steve. He had the one big game after the Olympics, went into Buffalo. They outshot, the Canes outshot Buffalo like 38-16 or something. Cam gave up a bad goal. They lost. And he played one more game out in the West Coast, lost that one too. It was probably wondering, where's my confidence level? And so you get thrown into a game like this, and if you can make some big saves, sometimes it can kind of restore and turn things around for you.
Taken here by Henrique. Dishes off for Merrill. His wrist shot is fired wide. Zidlitsky on a second chance tries to fire towards goal. That's Skinner who got in the way of that. Still loose in front and swept away to the stick of Sekera. And Lakyanov darts back the other way. Gives to the defenseman Murphy. Played across. Shot from the far side off the stick of Lindholm is broken up. Can make the case Ward is trying to keep his team alive in the race right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Carolina's 8 points out of a playoff spot at the start of play here tonight. And taken here by Gerby. Over the line, Nash will pump it in deep. Nathan Gerby, big shorthanded goal in this third period to make it a 1-goal game. Green bothered by the Dynamo and taken back into the Carolina zone. Belmore to the dot, icing against the Devils.
Well, out of town, Washington finally gets Halak in the lineup tonight, Steve, but they've gone totally dry in terms of goal scoring. They have none tonight and haven't scored many recently. And the one thing about the Devils, you could say, well, which do you like better? They're scoring more goals, but they're giving up more. Or would you sooner they were scoring less, but giving up less? I tend to like the fact that they're getting their confidence and putting pucks in the net. As long as they're winning hockey games. I mean, if you're losing, that's a different story. But it's the one piece of confidence they've been looking for all year. The offensive side of the puck where they feel that they can score 3 or 4 most nights.
I'm told Washington, just as you were giving that score, finally did score, so they're on the board for Halak. Keep an eye on that. Bruner into the offensive zone. Crashed into Sekera. 1-goal lead for the Devils here. Alexander Semin on the puck for Carolina. Tied up by 2 Devils. And it comes here to Zubrus. He gives to Elias. Loaded it across and taken away by Carolina. Jordan Staal working on a 2-point game. Drops it back for Sekera. Better than halfway through period 3. 4-3. The Devils leading Carolina. Carter humps it ahead for Bernier as it went by his stick. Given away, though, to Gianta. Gives here to Bernier. He'll drop behind the net. Oh, the referee got in the way of that. Johnny on the spot. There's Gianta getting it right back to Bernier. Salusti ties up Bernier. Good puck battle ensues, and it's taken here by Skinner. Won by the Devils. Played here. Gianta had it knocked off his stick off the feed from Ryan Carter. His stick being held, kicks at the loose puck, and played across to Lakyanov. The ex-Devil Andrei Lakyanov motors in, shoots on Brodeur, and he fought it off high.
What a sneaky shot, hey? Steve Brodeur wasn't expecting the shot to be released when it was. Little Lakyanov's almost leaning around John Merrill. Whoa, and a big hit in the neutral ice zone. Paluski, I think it was Bernier rocked him.
What a hard player to figure out, Lokdianov. There are times he was scratched as many as 11 times in a row, and times he shows skill like that. Really a good creative player who can get a great shot off. Puck winds around.
It was Ruutu on his ex-teammate again. You know, it was something I talked about last night, Steve. You wish some of the Devils would have rocked some of those Red Wings coming across the middle of the ice, and Ruutu may be that guy down the road.
Jágr skates it back over the line. Nice job to avoid one defender in Manny Malhotra, and his shot went wide. Picked up here by Malhotra. Punches it ahead. Shot by Semin. He scored! A turnaround try by Alexander Semin, and the game is tied with 7:21 to go.
Well, it's what I said about Semin. You live with his deficiencies, and there are a number of them on the defensive side of the puck. But we're talking about a tall, lanky, individual effort goal that I don't know how many guys could have done this. Now here you see the spin. Brodeur cannot see the puck, and he goes down low, but Semin, really not knowing probably exactly where he is on the ice even, just whips it and throws it in off the pipe. And then doesn't make the greatest celebration he's ever made, but he's feeling awfully good about it. And now 3 straight goals by the Hurricanes have tied it.
17th of the year for Alexander Semin. Eric Stahl's pass for the cutting Semin, who's looking for more. Devils have let a 4-1 lead slip away as Sekera takes this, throws it towards goal, trickles wide of Brodeur's cage. Andy Green got Jordan Stahl's way, and the Devils punch it ahead as the loose puck is gobbled up by Damian Brunner. His shot is blocked away. Brunner able to recover. Cycles this for Elias, and he gives to Klo. Klo works it back to the point. Bryce Salvador with a shot, and it's held by Ward. We'll step aside. 6:37 to go in a 4-4 game at the Rock.
Turning point of the game is brought to you by Weiser's Whiskey. Welcome to the Weiser Hood. And the no-look pass across the ice, very dangerous by Damian Brunner, is picked off by Jordan Stahl, and he just feeds the little speedster, Nathan Gerbe. And Gerbe's got so many moves, and he spins like Henrique did on his shorthanded. Not quite as much. Marty gives the puck a boot, but he puts it in the top of the net, and that made it 4-3, and another one just moments ago has tied it for these Hurricanes.
Off the draw, Zidlitsky maneuvers in the circle, works it back, shot by Ruutu, scores! Tuomo Ruutu! And the Devils back on top 5-4.
Well, it's a face-off win, and then some dogged work, and Ruutu's gonna be caught up high. Let's see here. There he is there. Bang, bang. Now watch how he releases and finds the open ice. And through a screen, banks it off the goaltender here. Oh, and Cam Ward overplayed it a little bit. Went a step too far to his right. And Ruutu, the ex-Carolina Hurricane, with an assist earlier and now a goal.
Now to hold this lead.
And you know what they're chanting?
In an oddity we have not seen all season. For the second straight night, we'll watch Adam Henrique first at the circle, and a shot blocked away in front. Second straight night, the Devils scored 3 straight goals and then allowed 3 straight. But the big answer there by Ruutu. Centering try by Elias off the stick of Michael Ryder, and quickly played ahead to Skinner. Check by Zidlitsky, but Skinner's still going. Puck deflected off the side of the net. Lokdianov following up. Back to the point, drive by Murphy is whistled wide. Taken here by Eric Stahl. And it comes out of the zone. On the goal that tied it for Carolina, 7 from Malhotra at 12:39. Taken away once again. Jordan Stahl is hammered down to the ice as Steven Gionta gets twisted up. And the puck taken here by New Jersey. Gionta skates it ahead, but taken away by Jordan Stahl.
From Zidlitsky and Zajac at 13:30.
Elias will guide it across. 5:10 to go in a game both teams feel they have to have. You hear the chant, Ruutu, Ruutu.
Falling in love with him already, Steve.
Murphy deflects off his stick, works it across, gets this to the cutting Jordan Staal. Harrison seals off Jágr, and the puck taken away by Tuomo Ruutu. He's all alone, one-on-one against Bellemare. Taken away by Bellemare, who really did defend that well. Picked off by Salvador. Bouncing puck comes to Travis Zajac. He'll work it in deep. Ruutu on a line with Jaromir Jágr and Travis Zajac, making an impact in just his second game as a Devil. Here's Jágr. Works it across. Shot. Save made by Cam Ward off the stick of Bryce Salvador. Nash lays it ahead to Gerby, who backhands one into the Devil's zone. Behind the net, Riley Nash. That's Clowe, who missed on the hit. Sekera pinching in. Puck comes off the boards, worked ahead to the stick of Ryan Clowe, and he'll feather one into the Carolina end. Clowe busting through, got by one defenseman, and Murphy. Quick shot there by Elias, is saved by Ward, and skated back the other way. 3-on-2 for Carolina. It's Gerby who has it at the circle, fires, and it went wide. And chipped out of the zone by Elias.
Both teams still trading chances.
3:20 left. Sekera on the puck here for Carolina. 33 shots for the Hurricanes. 31 for the Devils. A game that has been fast and loose once again, as was the case for much of last night in Detroit. You're watching the Foxwoods 5. Foxwoods, your destination for endless excitement. Visit foxwoods.com.
Well, this game could be now 6-4. Or it could be tied. Here you're going to see Ruutu ripping that goal home off a nice work there off the face-off.
Shot by Harrison, blocked. They hold the zone. Jordan Staal with brother Eric and Alexander Semin. They'll see plenty of time here down the stretch. Go-ahead goal by Tuomo Ruutu moments ago. Staal fights off Sedlitsky, got a shot away, blocked away by Brodeur, and punched out of the zone by Zubris. On the go-ahead goal, Ruutu, 6th of the year, first as a Devil. Sedlitsky and Zajac get the assists for Travis Zajac. This is a 3-point night. Taken away by Jordan Staal. Centering try for Eric, and the try went wide. At the side of the net, still loose. Brodeur reaching out. Puck deflects away. Picked up here by the Hurricanes and worked back to the point. Sekera under pressure. Holds the zone. Straddles the blue line and keeps on going. Has to fight off his ex-teammate in Ruutu and plays in deep. Green to the stick of Ruutu, who clears the zone.
Now they're chanting Marty.
2 minutes left. Murphy skates over the line, sees a puck checked away. Close, sends it back the other way. Bernier reaching out for the puck, and it's defended away by Hainsey. Luckionov plays it across. Grayson Bowman on the puck here for Carolina. Played ahead to the ex-Devil Luckionov. Back at the Rock 4 days after leading the team in a trade. Semin at center ice. He's been good all night. Worked across to Harrison. Devils trying to hang on in a big spot in the heat of a playoff race. Brodeur behind the net. Plays it ahead. Deflects off Elias's stick and batted out to center. Harrison back into the Devils zone. To the net goes Ward. Hurricanes get the extra attacker on. Centering try. Poked free by Gionta. It'll stay in the zone. Jordan Staal tries to maneuver away from Zubris. Taken here by Elias. The net empty. Lifts it away. Gionta racing towards the loose puck. Under pressure is the defenseman Harrison. He shoots and fires off the side of net. Steven Gionta trying to put the game away. It's Staal, though, working it back the other way. On the far side, hammered into the Devil's zone. Fane on the puck, plays it ahead. Picked up here at center. Elias looks it towards goal. Batted away by Murphy with a high stick. And with that, we get a stoppage with 40 seconds left.
Well, what a finish to what has been an entertaining hockey game. You've got to like the wide open chances. And here you see Elias. I think it would have went in. Murphy bats it out of the air, and the faceoff will come deep. And here's the play we're talking about. Marty Brodeur with some help from about 3 or 4 of his buddies. Keep that puck out of the net, but the Hurricanes come within a foot of tying this game. Tuomo Ruutu, the difference in this hockey game with the go-ahead goal so far.
Carolina's called timeout.
The Hurricanes trying to muster up some magic here, Steve. They played such an interesting game, unusual game, where you could see that they're pretty good offensively, but they're so loose in their own end and just create so many chances for the other team. I don't know how the consistency is going to get there for them to have to win like 4 or 5 games in a row. And I mean, that's for any team. To win 4 or 5 in a row, which will put you in a good position for the playoffs, you got to have some structure to your game night after night. And Marty Brodeur's got to be one tired man, as well as some of his teammates with back-to-back games. But the Devils have responded well after Detroit last night.
Face off to the right of the Carolina goal, so Ward obviously will get to the bench. First chance he gets. Face-off win critical here. Zajac, the best the Devils have, and he does win the draw. Now tries to work it in deep towards Jagr. Fane kicks it a loose puck. It's taken here by Jordan Staal and worked across to Murphy. Ward slowly makes his way to the bench. Pass picked off at center by Adam Henrique. Cam Ward back in his net. Now 21 seconds left. Sekera plays it across. Here's Alexander Semin. Throws it into the Devils' net. The net is empty. Brodeur looks at it, lifts it up high. Won't go nearly far enough, but the puck taken here by Jagr, and he fired. It's blocked away by Murphy. 7 seconds to go. Pass taken away by Green. Backs it off the near boards. Jagr sends it deep in. The Devils will hold on and win it.
And a big win for the Devils. It was shaky. It wasn't pretty at times, but all that counts is 2 big points. Adam Henrique, a scoring machine again tonight, and everybody chipping in. And that number 15 there that just went through your screen, the hero of the night. And it is time now for tonight's goal of the game, and it's brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most innovative lineup ever. Shop at ChooseNissan.com. Now the game's tied. Another key face-up. Puck is up for grabs. And you're going to see Ruutu, number 50, peel off and back up Zedlitsky, just like he should. And then Merrick gives him the puck. And then everything parts. If you look at Ruutu right here as he shoots the puck, there's lots of traffic in front. I don't know if Ward sees it, but watch how everybody peels off, and the puck has a straight line into the net, and Ruutu could hardly contain himself.